Is it possible to make a part so good that it's actually too good? This is gonna be the absolute focal point of the front of this car.
I think the headlight, that's what should be crossed out.
Oh, you better quit.
They match the wheels. In the front and the back, all we have is machined aluminum like we're looking at.
We got Scotch-Brite, we can brush them real fast. I'm just kidding.
Or what, probably $2,000 a piece headlight bezel?
We're in there now, ain't no going back. Oh. Just gotta beat down the shine a little bit.
So today, we're gonna be reverse engineering and then machining this headlight bezel for a 1970 Chevy Chevelle. It's a custom build that Gas Monkey Garage is doing for SEMA this year. My first thought was to do this part in 2 operations with a fixture for Op 2. But I realized there's a smarter way. We can do it all in 1 operation and save ourselves all that hassle. The main things that stand out to me on this part is the almost mirror finish on the inside here and the super thin walls. This part's only 60 thousandths thick. So since we're reverse engineering this, the first step in the process is getting this scanned by our buddies over at Dynamic 3D. We started with a 3D scan and then I built the model off from that. I decided to make this part out of 8-inch long pieces of aluminum. That way I can just dovetail one end and I'll be able to get 4 parts out of each piece without having to load more material into the machine. So I'm running this on our Matsuura Mam 72 35V. This machine has become my favorite machine in the shop. Usually on a 5-axis trunnion style machine, you're gonna sacrifice some rigidity for the added versatility. But that's not the case with this machine. It's as rigid as anything we've got in the building. So we started the process off with a Core 5 Kennametal end mill to rough out all the material around the outside and the inside of our part. Then we come back with a 1/2-inch 3-flute end mill to clean up the smaller radius areas in the middle of our part. And then we semi-finish the whole inside with that same tool. To use the MCD tool, you have to leave between 1 and 2 thousandths of material for that tool to run properly. Because we're only leaving 1 to 2 thou for the MCD tool, we have to basically finish the inside of this part twice. After we finish the inside, we swarf cut the outside profile, and then we're on to the MCD tool. The ball end mill that we're using to finish this part is a specialty tool made by PH Horn. It's a monocrystalline diamond insert that's brazed onto the carbide shank of the tool. So the great thing about this MCD tool is you can run it at really high surface footage. So we're gonna spin it at 18,000 RPMs. And we can feed it at 100 inches a minute and still get that great finish. So our original part has a mirror finish on the inside. So I'm gonna take a 2 thou step over with the diamond tool to match that surface finish. If I didn't need quite that good of a finish, I could use a 5 thou or a 10 thou step over to cut down on the cycle time and still get a better finish than with a ball end mill. After we finish the inside of our part, we're gonna rotate to A90 and start roughing out the back of our part. We're gonna do that with the Core 5 end mill that we've already used. And then we're gonna come back in with that 1/2-inch 3-flute end mill as well to rough out as much material as we can to have good clearance for our finishing tool. After we remove the bulk of the material on the back of our part, we're gonna run a semi-finish and then a finish pass with a long 1/4-inch ball end mill. The finishing operation for the back of our part ended up being a totally rotary tool path. So it's only 4-axis simultaneous, but I did program it using SolidCam's 5-axis strategies. After that, we're just going to use an 1/8" end mill to do our 2 angled holes that break through from the front of our part to the back. And then to tab off our part, we're going to use a 1/2" 031 sawmill in 3 sectioned cuts. It's kind of cool how SolidCam's geometry tab works. I can actually see the start and end points of each of the sections I programmed. This makes it really easy to tab the part off because I can see exactly what's going to be left over after we run this tool. So I ended up leaving 3 20,000ths triangles around the inside of my part. All right, so now it's time for my favorite part of any machining process, hitting stuff with a mallet. If I hadn't run this part myself, I wouldn't have believed you could get a finish this good straight off the machine.
That is purely straight out of the machine.
That's nuts.
Here's the problem. They're so freaking perfect.
It turned out we didn't actually need it this time, but it's a great tool to have in your bag of tricks. So if you came to Boombastic, you already saw this process, but for those of you who didn't, we wanted to make a video and show you how it's done. I'll catch you guys on the next one.